Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. We'll be giving you all the first appearances hitting your comic shops today. Now this week we have a pretty good group for you guys. I think we have 7 first appearances and 5 honorable mentions. So 12 titles in all to go through, some really great titles in here. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending October 29th, 2021. Now first up from Boom Comics, House of Slaughter #1. This features the first appearance of Jace Boucher. Now this is a spin-off series, spinning off of course from Something is Killing the Children. This series will explore the inner workings and secret histories of the Order of St. George. Now this is the first appearance of a new character in a super hot series or franchise. Something is Killing the Children is incredibly hot. It's already been picked up in development for a streaming series, and this is a spin-off of that series. So this is one we definitely think you should pick up and add to your collection. Next up from DC Comics, Task Force Z #1. This features the first team appearance of Task Force Z. This is Red Hood, Bane, Man-Bat, Arkham Knight, and Mr. Bloom, and also features the first team appearance of the Resurrection Twins. Now this is one that we think you could probably pick up and add to your collection for the cover price. It's not that bad of a bet. You know, DC Comics are definitely much more lightly collected than Marvel titles and some of these indie publishers, so this is one we definitely think you should probably pick up at the cover price. There's a few first team appearances in here that may be important going forward, and if these comics are under-collected in 10-20 years, who knows, they may be important. You know, you can consider this maybe a speculative bet, but for the cover price, this might be worth picking up. Go ahead and get this one for your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Black Widow #12. This features the first appearance of the Living Blade, described as a haunting figure from Natasha's past and the only man that she fears. This also features the first appearance of another new villain. Now, Black Widow is a very popular title with Marvel. The franchise is still going pretty strong, and this features the first appearance of 2 new characters. We always say pick up any first appearances of new characters in Marvel titles. This is one we think you should pick up and add to your collection. Next up from Marvel Comics, Darkhold Blade #1. This features the first team appearance of the Last Avengers. This is Citizen V, Silver Sable, and Prowler. Now, we typically say pick up any Marvel comic that has the first appearance of new characters, or new costumes, or new powers. But this is the first team appearance of the Last Avengers. This is not the first appearance of those particular characters that form that team. This may be one that you want to put on your B-list. This is a Darkhold title series. We really don't know what Marvel plans to do with this. It probably is worth speccing on because this is the first team appearance of the Last Avengers. But, you know, if you can't get them all, put this one on your B-list. If you can, you should probably pick this one up. Next up from Marvel Comics, Spider-Woman #16. This features the first full appearance of a superhero identity for Rebecca Marchand. Now, once again, Spider-Woman is not necessarily Marvel's strongest title series, but it is the first full appearance of a superhero identity for a character in a Marvel title. This may be worth speccing on, especially since this is part of the Spider-Man universe. But once again, Spider-Woman, not necessarily an incredibly heavily collected title or one of Marvel's strongest titles. So you can probably put this one on your B-list if you can't get them all. If you can, maybe you should pick it up. Next up from Marvel Comics, Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters IG-88 #1. Now this is a one-shot War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in that features Assassin Droid Bounty Hunter IG-88. This also features the first appearance of RB-919. You know, this is a Star Wars title with the first appearance of a new character, and a Marvel title with the first appearance of a new character, so this one is probably worth picking up and add to your collection. We always say pick up any of the Star Wars and Marvel titles that feature first appearance of new characters. You know, the Star Wars franchise is probably one of the hottest franchises in the collecting universe, so this is one we think you should probably pick up and add to your collection. Finally, for Marvel Comics, Sword #9. This features the first team appearance of a new Lethal Legion. You know, Sword is not necessarily Marvel's strongest title series, and this is the first team appearance. Once again, this one may be worth putting on your B-list. Keep an eye on it, but we really don't know how important the new Lethal Legion in the Sword title series will be for Marvel. If they spin it off and do something on big screen or small screen with this, it may be big going forward. But for right now, we think if you want to spec on it, pick it up. Otherwise, put this one here on your B-list. And now for the honorable mentions. From Aftershock Comics, Cross the Bear #1. The Order, an organization made up of descendants of the Crusaders, sworn to eradicate the unnatural, hunt down the famed serial killer Jack the Ripper. Now this is one that sounds like it could lend itself very well to TV or film. Aftershock has had some of their titles optioned for TV or film, so this is one that we think is probably worth speccing on. These indie titles, a lot of these are getting picked up for streaming series or small screen or big screen projects, and they're definitely worth having in your collection for the cover price. This one here is probably worth specking on. Pick this one up. Next up from Red 5, Merlin and Hector #1. Before King Arthur, Camelot, and Excalibur, an unremarkable young man with no magical ability teams up with an outcast named Hector to protect their village from rampaging monsters. Now, once again, this one here, maybe we're specking on. This is a small press. This is from Red 5. Red 5 hasn't really had anything option for TV or film that's come to fruition. This one here, you're probably worth putting on your B-list. Keep an eye on it, though. Like we always say, these small press titles do get picked up quite frequently lately. So this is one, if you want to spec on it, pick it up, but you can put it on your B-list for now. Next from Scout Comics, Swamp Dogs #1. A squad of Confederate soldiers, resurrected from the dead by voodoo, go on to hunt for female flesh, and only one thing stands in their way: a stoner heavy metal band named the Grunge. Now this is one that we think sounds like it's going to translate very well to TV or film. Scout Comics has had some of their titles translated to TV or film, and this story sounds very interesting and unique enough to be picked up. So this is one we do think is worth specking on. Pick this one up if you want to spec on it. Otherwise, put in your B-list. Keep an eye on this one, though. This one sounds very interesting. Next up from DC Comics, Batman Fortnite Foundation #1. Now this is a one-shot follow-up to the DC Fortnite Team-Up series, and there's an unlockable code for a Batman Who Laughs outfit in this. This is one we definitely think you should pick up. The Batman Fortnite Team-Up was incredibly popular, and those first print editions of that comic are selling for good money. So this is one we definitely think you should add. Any of these Batman Fortnite Team-Ups, and this is a one-shot. A lot of collectors don't pick up one-shots, so this is one we think is worth adding. And finally from DC Comics, Batman The Long Halloween Special #1. This is a 48-page one-shot addition to the Long Halloween franchise. Now, the Long Halloween storyline, their story arc, is a fan favorite. A lot of collectors love that storyline, and the original series goes for good money and high grade. We think this is probably worth picking up for the cover price. If you can pick it up, do so. If you can't, put it on your B-list, but this is one we do think is worth adding. So there you have the 12 titles we have for you guys this week. Some really great titles in there to add to your collection, and we hope you're able to pick some of those up. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.